So my name is Carlos. I also go by Dion. I'm a 37 artist, and I'm also a lot of other different things.
So it's like how you were talking about how like sometimes in lower income it's like we can only afford the practical and we can only do like
You
there
can't
isn't.
you can't delay like like productivity, right? Like it has to be short term. Like you have to see the results right away. But I mean that's a feedback loop, right? Like so if you don't have the time to invest into something that's going to pay off long term, then you're going to live day by day and you're never going to do something that's gonna pay off later. Like you're always like check to check. One of the worst habits my pops had, I love the man. One of the worst habits he had was he would always buy cheap shit. And I was like, look, if instead of buying cheap shit, we save up like, for a month or two and buy something of quality that's just gonna last us a year or two. And we never have to pay for any maintenance and whatever. Like, bro, like, I like, and the thing is, as a little kid, I still understood that though, because I was like, look, bro, like, we doing this, but if we start planning like this, then one day it'll be the future. And it was the same with this music shit. I always told Chris, I was like, look, like right now, you don't worry about the fucking equipment, don't worry about X, Y, and Z. Start fucking rapping. Like I don't want to hear shit except some verses, like and singing. You know what I mean? And it's not like I was like hard on him. He loved the shit. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, like we be in our own thing of like, oh no, but I don't have that yet. I don't have that. You have the opportunity of today to get a step closer. Like, you know what I mean? All this other shit will come later. Like, but I guess that's in my life. I feel like that's what the 3/7s represent. Is just that, you know, when you live with that thing of like, let me focus on this, everything else will, come to you. But and I'm not naive. Like, obviously, I mean, I don't think so. But there is a very like spiritual sense in believing that you are protected by a higher power. Depending on like who you ask, I guess. But if you ask me. I think so. I'm a pretty spiritual person, so I might not look it, but I don't know.
All right. So tell me a little bit about what it was living in the Garcia household, and where did where was Carlos 10 years ago?
Oh, 10 years ago? Let's see. I had just graduated high school, and as is the narrative, right? It's like we didn't have any money for undergrad or college, and not only that, but at the time I didn't know FAFSA was a thing because I'm the oldest, right? So first generation, they're like either you get a full scholarship or you're going to the Marines. And the thing is, I didn't ask my counselors. Like I took the word of my parents. So I was like, okay. So I was already signed up to the Marines. I took the ASVAB. I passed. The guy was like, you're super smart. I was like, thank you. And then I applied to a full scholarship at Georgia State. And they were like, so you're going to Marines? I was like, well, if they say I didn't get the full scholarship, then I'm not going. I'll go to the Marines. I didn't have any problem. I like exercise anyway. So then I ended up getting the call and then ended up at Georgia State for the next 4 years until I graduated with a degree in economics and math. So that was 18 to later on, and then, just followed that. But growing up in the household, I think that I was 12, like when the financial recession hit. So I remember seeing like my neighbors evicted. We would walk and then I would just see like everyone's shit on the lawn. Like, and then one day I come home and I see like fucking notices on our door too, and I'm like, shit, like we're next. Like, but certain things happened that, we were blessed enough that it didn't happen to us, but, it always, I like kept that shit in me where I was just like, oh no, like shit is real out here. And if our parents didn't have the our parents, because they're undocumented or not currently, but even undocumented people, is like they don't have the information of like how shit works here. And I feel like that was kind of our biggest obstacle, because my mother was like, yo, like at least you could dabble in her English, but some people don't even got that as a tool of communication to find the information. So that was, I think, what kept us afloat, was her thing of like, nah, bro, I gotta fight. Like, you know what I mean? Even when the fucking like hopes are down, like you feel like you already lost, she just kept fighting anyway. So that's what kept us afloat. And that was kind of my 12 to high school kind of thing. I mean, the only difference is I got kicked out of school like once or twice, but it was over some shit. Like it wasn't even nothing serious. Like I was not a bad kid, you know. I just thought I was like you know, some things just I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't a bad kid. I was just, you know, I was just more so in my own space. Like I just didn't, you know. But
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I think of the similarities between your brother is that you guys both speak really highly about your mom.
Oh, 100%, bro.
So tell me a little bit about her and what she means to you. And what were some of those things that during those times you're like, damn, this is different. This is someone who's actually fighting. This is someone who's actually getting up and figuring out what resources are in my reach so that I can keep fighting for my children, you know? So what did that mean to you? And what stood out the most?
Even when she felt like, and I could tell, I could see it in her eyes, I felt it in her energy, even when she thought there's no way this is gonna work, she still fucking got up and would go to work on Saturday. Like, you know what I mean? Like for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like so she's a medical assistant. Now she's, you know, still a medical assistant, but like at a hospital. So progression, right? But like she was like, as long as I don't stop, we don't lose. Like, you know what I mean? So that kept it in my mind of like, my mom's working Saturdays. I can't work Saturdays. Like as an adult now, right? That's why I work every weekend. That's why I do music, software engineering, economics, X, Y, and Z. Because I'm like, this lady, and not even just this lady. I know this is a story of like immigrants too. Like, it's like they work every fucking day. I can't do that. Like, no, I can't. Of course I can do that. You know what I mean? So to me that was the most important thing that stood out about her in the household. That I was just like, I gotta respect that, bro. Like I would do a disservice for her. Like if I was just like, you know what, today I think I'll just chill. I mean, sometimes there's time to rest, right? But I'm not on this mentality of like, well, my mom did X, Y. Nah, bro. Like, you know, and now, I think that's what keeps me in the position of like, no matter how you go or whatever, that's really just to bless others. Like, you know what I mean? Because once you take care of your stuff, and even if you want to buy some toys or whatever, cool. But then the rest of it is to bless others. Like, you know, that's my mission long term, is earning money to give it back. Like, you know, I don't really care for money. Like, you know, it's just the things that it allows you to do. Like, you know what I mean? But and so I just became good at learning where it's coming from, economics, how to make it, software engineering, and so on and so forth. But I'm not like that. That's not for me. Like I do it because one day, like you're gonna have kids and you want to take care of them. And not only that, but what about all the kids right now that don't have shit? Like you don't ever bless like a homeless person and you feel like great. It's like, I feel like we could make that change. Like I don't see why we can't.
Right.
There's a lot of structural issues at hand, of course, but you know, I think that it really just starts with just each individual can inspire someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to play our role.
Yeah. So I think the role that your mom played in both of you guys' lives is invaluable, right? But what do we say to the kids or to the teens or to the young adults that didn't grow up with the greatest parents, that they didn't have that? They didn't have that mom or that dad that could give them that sense of hope, of drive, of why.
You hit it right on the head, because now we, you know, I kind of passed things up with her, but we weren't always on like speaking terms. You know, I could just respect it from what I was seeing, but what kept me going and the reason I even started making music is because whether it was Mac Miller, whether it was like J. Cole, whether it was Drake, Kendrick, like people were used to say shit that mattered. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't, like, it wasn't like, I'm not even gonna get into the politics of it, but it wasn't just things to just make music. Like, it was like, yo, I have a message, like, here, like, listen to it on the way to school. And so I would just have like albums playing back to, I would create a catalog of like my favorite songs. And it's like, though, like Ye's album, Ye's Graduation. Like, if you listen to that album, it's just about self-esteem. So to me, I was just like, I just keep listening to this and I'm gonna make it through whatever else I got going on. So that's why I'm trying to be more careful with the shit I say in music. But but the point is I'm trying to give people the self-esteem, the confidence of like, it's not your clothes, it's not where you at right now, it's what you could do. Like, so.
Okay, so I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but you talked about the importance of the message that you were receiving from different artists during those times that you were going through a bunch of stuff. What is your message, or what is it that you want to give off? What is your intentionality behind the music that you create?
Be the best at what you do. Like, be the best version of yourself in what you do, right? Like, this is not this thing of like, oh, but what about this guy and what about this guy? Like, I'm better than this guy. It's like, what about you? Like, what are you doing? And it's not an attack on yourself. It's more so like, that's what's within your control. And in being a better version of yourself, however you want to define better, but to me, better is just this alignment with abundance and God. So when you do that, you live in a space where you never need anything, and you're always blessing other people. You know what I mean? So because I think that that's kind of what the universe wants for everybody. Like, I still don't like the idea of, not to get too sidetracked, but the idea of like like, let's say like poverty is structural. Like, we make enough food for everyone on the planet. Like, data shows that we have enough clothes for everyone, but we just burn it. Like, we just throw everything away. So, my message and my intention is that anyone that is watching this, it's like you're playing an active role, even if you think you're not, even if you feel like you're always on your phone, or you're always like some like side character or whatever the fuck. You're not. Like, you're a part of this, but you need to always think about the better version of yourself, and it'll lead you to create. It'll lead you to hang out with friends and make cool shit. So that's
Is there a question that I probably didn't ask you that you wish I would have asked you, and how would you
my
answer
top
that?
5 albums.
What's your top five?
Nah, I'm curious. I want to know.
No,
I want to know. You asked me, and I was struggling. So
they
now you got
changed. And number 1 right now?
Number 1 right now.
Yes.
It's probably still Graduation.
No, nothing was the same.
Nothing was the same.
It
so
changed.
Good. That's a great one.
It's aging better.
It's so good.
And not only that, but 808s and Heartbreaks and Jesus, I put above Graduation now.
Jesus.
But I mean,
Ain't no way.
dude, it's because of what, like, when you hear music like art, it's like, it's a different, it seems different. It looks different.
Yeah, I get it. Graduation still meant a lot to me, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my God, it's like my favorite shirt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, I love Graduation.
Yeah. No, but was there a question aside from your top 5 albums that you wish I would have asked you that I didn't? Any final words is what I'm trying to get at.
When's your album dropping?
Oh my God, I'm so busy. We'll see about that. No, nothing. It was, I did want to say that it was very nice to meet you, Abhishek. The reason I don't ask more questions to you is because when I meet someone, I can tell by how they approach their craft, their personality to some extent.
Right.
So like, I immediately trusted you. I was like, bro, he knows what's going on. Like, he's clean. He got the tezzy. Like, and it's it's like, no, but it's like, you're on point. So I'm like, I can trust this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that's how I feel about people overall. I'm just like, yo, like, it was a smile, a hug, like a dap, and then like,
Yeah.
to go with me. Like,
And
some
it's-
of it's for the entertainment.
My identity isn't in what I do, is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, okay. I feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're living in that's fine. This music shit, man. The music shit is more so like, sometimes like it's a service of entertainment sometimes. So like, I feel like the whole like, look at me, it's like, it's because someone's seeing that and they're like, well, maybe I could be like that guy. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's more of, at least in the art, in the music way. Like, not in the business sense. Obviously, if you're in a business sense, bro, like, shake someone's hand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Say what's up. Ask them.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I do, because, there's some famous people that they have to maintain that kind of like, I'm untouchable.
I know.
So that you don't seem like
Weirdos.
too
They're weirdos.
Yeah. I think, but it's all like the way that we like kind of perceive it now, right? Like, this is like off camera. It's not gonna be on the edit. But like, I went to like I was looking at, and
Nah,
My cousin?
My
No,
cousin.
that's not my cousin.
he could be all of our cousins. But like,
no, I did like link with him a couple times.
Yeah.
Like, he's cool.
but like in his Instagram profile, like you can see, like you can book him, like you can
Yeah,
pay,
yeah.
and he will show up to your music video or your
I didn't know that.
drop some bars.
Yeah, that's
But
fire.
when I saw that, I was like, yeah, he's not.
Nah, no
He's
way.
not famous. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can't do that with anybody.
Man, he's always been like very like with his people though. That's what
Yeah.
it is. And the thing is, a lot of times like it depends. It's kind of what you were getting to. It's like, are you like, how do you present yourself, and like, what is the value of like entertainment? And that's why I feel like music is like in such the dirt hole that it's in right now, because it's like people started putting entertainment above quality of music. Like music just became like clown music to the act. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of being an art form. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's subjective. 100 greatest albums of all time. Like, you know what I mean? It's like there's clearly some like a place to go, right? And it saddens me that we've lowered the barriers to entry, but we've also lowered the standards of quality as well. So what the fuck? Like, but it's okay, because that's what Ohm is fixing, and that's way too long of an explanation to talk on right now. We should do other stuff, but
Yeah.
I will get back to that.
All right. Yeah. Put a pin in it.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Abhishek.
Got it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.